Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I didn't hit my cough button. Ha ha. I'm once again simulcasting on Rumble and TIDAL. And I'm hoping you all are having a very good evening. And the title of my broadcast is Revolting Judges. And they are revolting. Ha ha. Both to look at and in their behaviors. So anyway, while people meander into the broadcast, I will be playing some videos.
I am tired of being asked over and over again, which type of crime is more dangerous? Violent crime or white-collar crime? Organized crime or public corruption? Drug trafficking or arms trafficking? All of these areas of crime are dangerous and destructive of our society.
Dangerous crime is what Rudy Giuliani's job is all about. His office is the largest U.S. attorney's office in the country, and the challenge he faces is just as big.
We have to do securities fraud because we have 2 stock markets here in New York. If we don't do it, nobody's going to do it. We have to do drug work because we have a big drug problem in this city. And we have to do organized crime work because we have 5 organized crime families that have decided since the turn of the century to locate themselves here in New York and have acquired a tremendous amount of political power, economic power, social power, and all sorts of other kinds of power that is very unhealthy for our society.
Organized crime is where Giuliani has received the most attention. In 1984, it was the Pizza Connection case. Alleged members of the Sicilian Mafia were indicted for using pizza parlors as fronts to spread heroin in the United States. In 1985, his targets include names like Paul Castellano, Anthony Tony Ducks Coralla, and Anthony Fat Tony Salerno. This fall in federal court, Giuliani will personally prosecute perhaps the biggest case of his entire career, the so-called Mafia Commission case. For the first time, the government is not just pointing the finger at alleged mob leaders, but at the very structure of the mafia. The indictment alleges an inter-family board of directors governing illegal mob operations. While few of his organized crime cases have come to trial yet, cases like the Commission case have attracted a lot of publicity, something Giuliani says is vital for what his office does.
First, we can expose them. That is a very, very important ingredient in taking some of their power away, not all of their power, because, as I said, they operate through secrecy. It is also very important for the public to see what we do.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. Oh.
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Up. Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here. Move it to the spare.
Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready.
We ready?
Down. Shooters down.
Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move?
We're clear.
Let's move. Let's move.
We're clear. Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head, it's bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down. Get the shoes.
Watch out.
Wait.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
And they have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
he's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
I think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. I hope you all are having a great evening. And I want to welcome everybody that's coming into the chats and everybody who comes in after the live stream to watch the video. Hello, Todd. How are you? Mac, Wayne, Diane. Nice to see you. Rebecca, Darla, Yvonne, Kim, Roland. Debbie's here. Linda Marie's here. Sherry's here. Wow, everybody. Sissy's here. Television shows. That's right. Fight, fight, fight. Hello, Miss Mendersue. Happy birthday. How did I know that? How do I know that? Pappy Two Bears. Whoa. Jess and Bean. Robin's here. Michelle. Everybody's showing up. Kathy's here. Yeah, I see everybody. So, is that right? Is it your birthday, Miss Sue? Aha. That's good. Well, happy birthday to you. So anyway, I played that video, didn't I, about Rudy Giuliani. Why did I do that? I'll tell you why, because this operation has been at least 20 years in the making, involving Donald J. Trump. I think ever since John F. Kennedy lost his life, this plan started being formed. Just who were the players? Who were the players? Now we know. And Donald Trump is learning who the players are on the opposite side. He's been learning every day. And it's a deep cleaning going on. Hegseth still getting people out of the Defense Department. All right. And we're seeing this judicial activism, these lunatic judges putting their careers on the line. And here we go. Here's what I had on my thumbnail. Wisconsin judge Monica Isham threatens not to hold court over Hannah Dugan arrest. Two Karen judges, and a great many others that are going to have to be removed from the judiciary, and a lot of people in civil service that will never be able to hold an office of public trust again once these things come out. But I put Rudy Giuliani up there because he is playing a role, the role of retribution. And they're going to have to get hung by their own petards. They're going to have things come back and bite them in the rear end. Rudy Giuliani had his law license revoked because he was presenting evidence of money laundering at the highest levels of government, and he was also presenting evidence of voter fraud, right? And that's why he lost his license. Now, how many times have you heard me talk about these attorneys that are going up and saying egregious, fantastic, slanderous, libelous, vitriolic things every day on UTISL? If Rudy Giuliani could lose his license, they set the standard, one of many standards, for a lot of other people to lose their license. I said 3 years ago, if I had it to do over again, if I was up and coming young man, I would be getting a law degree because there's going to be a vacuum. A vacuum. It is a infected pustule. The Bar Association has an infested pustule that it needs to be lanced and drained of these infected individuals. So there's going to be a lot of openings. Hi, Marilyn. How you doing? Elva, nice to see you. Bambi, nice to see you. So, yeah, we had that Operation Tidal Wave. And we had the bust at the nightclub. Oh, that's just a little scratch in the surface. Things are going to really rock and roll. David's here. How you doing? Who'd I miss? I miss you, babe. And yeah, they may very well lock up Letitia James tomorrow. That's the other reason if you listen to what Rudy is talking about, the differences in crime, whether it's white collar, political crime, organized crime, you're dealing with the same suit, different bow tie. How many times have I said that? The same smell, different outhouse, okay? No matter what it is. And these people are creatures of this criminal construct that has been running our lives. And they're putting out everything they can to harm and discredit this administration. And remember this guy? Here's something to put in your meta, right? A lot of instances like this, I'll be going through my quiver, my archives, and finding where Trump supporters have been treated with violence. Kids getting their hats knocked off their heads and slapped around. People getting sprayed with pepper spray for simply having a Trump shirt. This guy lost his life. Black Trump supporter Burnell Trammell was S-H-O-T. Okay? Lost his life in Milwaukee. The media will never give him the respect he deserves. So it's up to us to remember him. So their narrative is that MAGA is cruel and heartless. MAGA are fascists. How many times you hear, you even have senators talking that garbage. You think we can have people like that holding off public office? You think we can have judges, Congress people, okay, media people that have been told, attorneys, that Albrego Garcia, his withholding papers, the only thing they can find, says no Guatemala. Somebody lied and created a national boil, right, on the political rear end of this country that is affecting how we interact with each other, and inciting vitriol. A lie, a repeated lie. And they are knowingly spreading that nonsense. And then once it gets out, they jump to another hoax, another half-truth, another finger-pointing issue. And they don't report on good news. The latest is a 2-year-old child. A 2-year-old child was baby napped. I don't know what they do. Put the kid in a FedEx package and ship them off without reading them their rights. Dramatic. Incendiary. Gary, how you doing? Yeah, we've only begun to kick and scream. We're going to start putting it out there that they are nothing but a bunch of cheap liars. I've got over 100 pictures. I'll say screwed as the term on my live streams. I tried 2 times and I knew I never had that bad before. I of course was going over the judge. I wanted to point out that the photo that Kash Patel put up from behind of her in handcuffs, they needed to turn her around. And that way everybody could see the donuts hanging out of her mouth. Just kidding, just kidding. But anyway, here it is. For your meta. Obstructed or impeded. Uh-oh. Entire judiciary realizes its life work since January 20th could land it in jail. Obstructed or impeded. Uh-oh. Yeah, like I said, she's probably walking with a donut in her mouth. And somebody put this out, echoing my thumbnail of the prior broadcast. I'm sure that is, is that that's got to be AI. I don't think they put her in an orange outfit. But the bottom line is, she didn't get arrested. I don't believe she made it into the courthouse. The drama episode of the judge who's on strike and the media is that she was arrested in her own courtroom. First of all, it's not her courtroom. It's hers as far as procedure, no chewing gum, take your hat off, that type of thing. But it's not hers to do what she did. I heard she was, they approached her as she was walking into the building. I don't think she got inside the building. But the narrative, she was arrested in her own courtroom. Some are even saying chambers. Like jackbooted thugs came in and got her unawares. No, she knew she was in trouble. She knew she was in trouble. She got snatched up. And she did get handcuffs on. She did get transported to a federal facility. She did get mugshot. She did get booked in. And she did have to sit in a holding cell. And she will go to court. And she ain't getting out of this one because we can't set that. There was a judge, I meant to say the other night, but now people are saying it. And I'm glad they're remembering. There was a judge in, where was it? Up north somewhere. Y'all help me out. Anyway, she got charged with doing the same thing. In the waning months of the first Trump administration. Was it Maine? Some liberal bastion. And the Biden administration worked out some cheapo. She's still sitting on the bench, committed a felony. Not like the phony garbage they dreamt up against Trump. DB, how you doing? Who am I missing? I missed somebody? I don't know. I hope, if I missed anybody, I apologize. Yes, they already have the dirt on all. I had something I was going to clip. I will explain in a little bit. An interrogation of a police officer where they found child porn on his phone. And they disclosed something that we knew. We knew. But not a lot of criminals know. I'll get to that. They have it all. They have it all. But anyway, I was going to do a thumbnail showing this this raid. Here's one of the videos. I think this is one Trump put out of the nightclub raid. I was going to take a freeze frame where they got their hands in the air and put on the thumbnail, "We got your due process right here." Ha ha ha. Yeah, some prostitutes, and I heard there was active duty military in there. Some of them providing security. Some of them were patrons of that rat hole. Here, we got something else right here. Here's another. This is, whoa, where's do I have my mic on? Let me see. Yeah, I got my mic on. But anyway, this is another clip that Mr. T put up. Let me see here. Yeah, this one made a good thumbnail, too. I got your due process right here. That's what I was going to put on the thumbnail. Yeah, they get to see a judge. They get to have a hearing. Okay, they get their due process. And if their presence is unlawful, they get sent back to their country, just like everywhere else in the world, and just the way this country has done tens of millions of times under multiple presidents. I had some idiot on True Social. I said, I was commenting on one Mr. President Trump's post. I said, due process, overdue due process. And some guy's handle is dumpster fire, and he's got a picture of Trump. So what are you talking about due process? And I answered him, what do you want, an OJ-style trial for every one of these illegal aliens? And that's another thing. That's the term I'm going to use. Never mind immigrant, never mind migrant. That's done for me. I got to train myself. Illegal aliens, unlawful presence, infiltrators, mooches, coming for the gravy. Remember Mr. T said that? Mr. T said that when he gave his speech in the town Alamo right after he left the White House. So anyway, these repugnant individuals, they don't report on this. Here's something that came out 3 days ago. I got this screenshot. 5 See, they can put migrants, they got to get that out of their head. No, these are aliens. These are foreign aliens in our country unlawfully. Unlawful presence. Get those terms embedded in your mind. Angela, how you doing? And what they do? Kidnapped a 13-year-old. And the mother called frantic. There's 5 of them. They pulled the car over and some of them said, oh, we're taking her to California because her family asked. And 4 of the 5 guys said, well, no, we're going to Kansas. They didn't know where they were going. Arguing over where she's going. So they all are probably leaving on a jet plane. But the media doesn't report this stuff. Like, here's Scott Bessent. He's a nice guy. He doesn't bust them as bad as I'd like him to bust them. But he's talking about the stock market.
When I look at some of the things that are being published, there was a story 10 days ago that said this is the worst April for the stock market since the Great Depression. 10 days later, the NASDAQ is now up on the month of April, and I haven't seen a story that says, oh, stock market has biggest bounce back ever. So I think...
It certainly has gone back and forth.
I think a lot of this is media-driven.
Yeah, media-driven. Look at the look on her face. You don't get a face like that from honest living, I can tell you that. Which philosopher said that? We all end up with the face we deserve. Look at that thing. But anyway, yeah, the media-driven, coordinated chaos. You can't really call it chaos if it's coordinated. It's fabricated chaos. But we know that things are under control. We know who's really in control. Right here, heading back to the US of A after the operation jam up some judges while I'm going to make a state visit and slap Zelensky around a little bit. You know what to do. So they're departing Rome, heading back to the US of A, and a certain judge has a court date, and we have another one that's going to have multiple people are going to have court dates. Multiple people. So I'm going to burn through some of this stuff. How many of you all went to my community page the night before last, and I posted the sad news. Something else most of the mainstream media will not talk about. Virginia Giuffre, Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew accuser, has died by you-know-what-aside. Who reported this? None of the other mainstream media is reporting this. ABC News, that's who. Remember what I said about ABC News? Disney tangled up, lost lawsuits, are going to lose more lawsuits, and I think they are being strong-armed into the truth and reconciliation that's required. Here they are. The only one major news network, right when it came out, that reported. Now, maybe some other are reporting now. I don't know. Breaking, Virginia Giuffre, the woman who accused Jeffrey Epstein of S3 sexual abuse, died by you-know-what-aside, her family announced on Friday. It is with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia, her family statement said. She lost her life to you-know-what aside after being a lifelong victim of S3 sexual abuse and S3 sexual trafficking. So, what started flying out after that disclosure? Stuff like this. There she is. A butterfly. Papillon. In Francais, papillon. Virginia Giuffre, I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I you-know-what-aside doll. I have made this known to my therapist and general practitioner. If something happens to me in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted. That was even reposted. Let me see how far up in the studio it is. Just to show you that it is known at the highest levels about this situation. If I can't find the actual post, I will tell you, put it up. Somebody reposted that. Oh my. Well, it was Don Jr. reposted that tweet by Virginia Giuffre. If I find it, I'll put it up. He did that today. So it's known at the highest levels. Yeah, Poso posted it way back. Yeah, China's one of the ones devaluing their currency that are going to get a smack upside the head. And they really have done themselves a disservice. Well, they're citizens. By them artificially devaluing the currency, now that things have gone to heck, their money's worthless. But they're still trying to save face. Well, anyway, I'm looking for that post. But anyway, Trump also made another major announcement. Trump urges free transit for U.S. ships through Panama and Suez Canal. That is where the Houthis are targeting ships. Whoops. This is about Kristi Noem's Gucci bag. Ha ha! They caught the person that... where's the picture of that? Maybe I don't have the picture. Anyway, yeah. Daggone it. Oh, well. I might as well put this up. Have you all heard anything about this suspect? Let's see. Accused of stealing Homeland Security Kristi Noem's bag. A Gucci handbag. $3,000 in cash. Other personal belongings. Was arrested in D.C. According to the Post, Metro Police Department and Secret Service caught the suspect. They're searching for a second one in connection. They're in the U.S. without authorization. They are illegal aliens. They have an unlawful presence. And U.S. and Customs Enforcement is now involved in the case. Interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Ed Martin, told NBC4. Wonder who this Ed Martin is. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out. Oh, God, I got some hideous pictures, more pictures of that Belgium princess. I'll put them up later. I haven't got stomach for it right now. But anyway, well, the big, I'll go over Trump's visit to the Vatican, but I'm going to get this 2-year-old and the 4-year-old with metastatic cancer that there's no cure for. He got sent out of the country with no doctor calls, no medicine, just took a deathly, unverified source stories, half-truths. Well, they tried to get Marco Rubio in a trick box about these situations. Where is he at? Where are you at, Marco? And it didn't do very well. And he's very respectful, very unexcited, but he puts forth facts. But you can see her working to try to make it as horrible sounding as possible.
About some new reporting that came in overnight. I want to just go through it for you and for our audience. 3 U.S. citizen children have been deported with their mothers. Now, this is according to the Washington Post. The family's lawyer says one of them is a 4-year-old with stage 4 cancer, deported without medication or ability to contact doctors. The family's lawyers are also saying their clients were denied communication with family and legal representatives before being deported. And it's raising concerns about the issue of due process, that it's being violated. So let me ask you, is everyone on U.S. soil, citizens and non-citizens, entitled to due process?
Yes, of course. But let me tell you, it looks in immigration standing, the laws are very specific. If you're in this country unlawfully, you have no right to be here and you must be removed. That's what the law says. Somehow over the last 20 years.
Now, you heard him say, yes, they are people on U.S. soil, whether citizens or not. He answered in the affirmative. Okay? Later on, she'll say, so you're saying that if they're not citizens, they don't get due process. You'll hear her say something very, very similar to that. Now, Rubio is going to say, well, somehow over the last few years, they've given them extra imaginary rights.
Years, we've completely lost this notion that somehow or completely adopted this idea that, yes, we have immigration laws, but once you come into our country illegally, it triggers all kinds of rights that can keep you here indefinitely. That's why we were being flooded at the border. And we've ended that. And that's why you see a historically low number of people, not just trying to cross our border, trying to cross the border into Panama, all the way down in the Darien Gap. I mean, it's been a huge help for those countries as well. On the headline, that's a misleading headline. Okay, 3 U.S. citizens, ages 4, 7, and 2, were not deported. Their mothers, who are legally in this country, were deported. The children went with their mothers. If those children are U.S. citizens, they can come back into the United States if there's their father or someone here who wants to assume them. But ultimately, who was deported was their mothers who were here illegally. The children just went with their mothers. But it wasn't like, you guys make it sound like ICE agents kicked down the door and grabbed the 2-year-old and threw him on an airplane. That's misleading. Yeah. That's just not true.
Just to be clear, because I do want to get to the overhaul at the State Department, is it the U.S. policy to deport children, even U.S. citizens, with their families, and I hear what you're saying, without due process, just to be very clear there.
Well, no. Again, if someone's in this country unlawfully, illegally, that person gets deported. If that person is with a 2-year-old child or has a 2-year-old child and says, I want to take my child with me, well, then you have two choices. You can say, yes, of course you can take your child, whether they're a citizen or not, because it's your child. Or you can say, yes, you can go, but your child must stay behind. And then your headlines would read, U.S. holding hostage 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 7-year-old while mother deported. So the parents make that choice. I imagine those 3 U.S. citizen children have fathers here in the United States. Yeah. They can stay with their father. That's up to their family to decide where the children go. Children go with their parents. Parents decide where their children go. Right. The U.S. deported their mothers who were illegally.
Yeah, you heard her say, oh, so you take the parents and deport them and the children with no due process. He just said they all get due process, you nitwit. Well, yeah, I saw it. Hi, Todd. How you doing? Yeah, it's in the Washington Post. They're the ones that put this garbage story out. But you see how rehearsed her question is. Every single syllable of the talking point. Every single syllable. Is this the article right here? Let me see. 3 U.S. citizens, there they are at the top, Washington Post. 3 U.S. citizens aged 2 and 4 and 7 swiftly deported from Louisiana. And they got a judge, a dopey judge, just because Trump appointed him in his first term. Don't put a lot of weight in that. Because his first term, every inch of the federal bureaucracy was infested with activists and Marxists, okay? So, and rhinos, all right? So this judge, I suspect this young person did not, a 2-year-old, what are you going to do, get a high chair and get them their own attorney for hundreds of thousands of people? Are you out of your damn mind? So anyway, they tried to put Tom Homan in a trick box. And look how he's so cool, he's got change for an ice cube. And she's trying to get under his skin. I will make a comment partway through this, so they don't say I'm stealing their content. No, I'm just pointing out your dopey lies.
We're joined now by President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
We see in our polling some support for the president's policies here. We know that overall border crossings are at the lowest monthly level we have seen. Just over 7,000 migrants came across in March.
The lowest levels we've seen. And then she keeps talking. No, woman, the lowest in recorded history, okay? 99.9% reduction. But it's the lowest we've seen. Don't say history. Don't say historical lows.
And were apprehended. But given the fact that you're still waiting on Congress to give you funding, do you think that's going to handicap your ability to carry out these policies?
Well, look, I think we've been very successful, and we got the most secure border in the history of this nation, and President Trump was able to accomplish that in 7 weeks. That's something that Joe Biden didn't and wouldn't do in 4 years. But yeah, the more money we have, the more we can do. The border is the most secure it's ever been in the history of this nation, but we need more funding for interior operations, ICE operations, to arrest those public safety threats, national security threats, and others from the United States. Again, the numbers are about 3 times higher than they were during the Biden administration as far as ICE arresting the interior. But with more money, we can do more.
Well, let's talk about what's happening on the interior. On Friday, there were 3 American citizen children born here who were...
Now, listen, it'll be almost syllable for syllable of the last one. And do you notice the color of her outfit? Color revolution? Huh? Purple color revolution.
were deported along with their mothers from Louisiana down to Honduras. And according to advocates, one of them is a 4-year-old child with stage 4 cancer, a rare form of metastatic cancer, who was sent back to Honduras without getting to talk to a doctor and without medication. I understand this child's mother entered this country illegally, but isn't there some basis for compassionate consideration here that should have allowed for more consultation or treatment?
They have got doctors in other countries. This would be a good time to mention that time when Donald Trump flew a child from Mexico to America and paid for her cancer treatment years ago. Oh, they're not going to mention that. But yeah, they have doctors in other countries, and there are plenty of Doctors Without Borders that assist and send medicine. It's like they sent the kid off and they're going to pass away in flight. But anyway, I don't mean to interrupt Tom.
Well, it certainly is discretion. I'm not aware of the specific case, but no U.S. citizen child was deported. Deported means you got to be deported by the immigration judge. We don't deport U.S. citizens.
The mother was deported along with the children.
The children aren't deported. The mother chose to take the children with her. Now, when you enter the country illegally and you know you're here illegally and you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, that's on you. That's not on this administration. If you choose to put your family in that position, that's on them. But having a U.S. citizen child after you enter this country illegally is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. It doesn't make you immune from our laws. If that's the message we send to the entire world, women are going to keep putting themselves at risk to come to this country. You know, we send a message. You can enter the country illegally, which is a crime. That's okay. You can have due process, great taxpayer expense, get ordered to move. That's okay. Don't leave. But have a U.S. citizen child and you're immune from removal, that's not the way it works.
So you don't think there should be compassionate consideration for a 4-year-old child undergoing treatment for cancer?
I didn't say that. I said
that was the question.
ICE officers do have discretion.
Yeah.
ICE officers do have discretion. I'm not familiar with the specific case. I don't know what facts surround this case. I just made aware of this when you mentioned this morning. I was not aware of that case.
On Friday, a federal judge who was appointed by President Trump.
Dude, does anybody remember Elian Gonzalez? Okay, from Cuba. His mother was bringing him to America. She passed away. Her uncles got Elian. Her father, the kid's father, Elian Gonzalez's father, in Cuba demanded his return. Janet Reno sent armed officers to gather him up by force and removed him from the country back to Cuba. Okay? So anyway, here she's going to get into that so-called Trump judge who made insightful, in my mind, insightful comments that are unfounded. And they're all going to have to be looked at. If they can do what they did to Rudy Giuliani, the sword cuts both ways.
Said a 2-year-old American citizen child had been sent to Honduras with the mother who was deported. But the judge said, quote, there was no meaningful process. So again, this is another similar situation and dynamic. Shouldn't there be special care when these deportation cases involve small American-born children?
Well, first of all, I disagree with the judge. There was due process. That female had due process at great taxpayer expense and was ordered by the immigration judge after those hearings. So she had due process. Again, this is parenting 101. You can decide to take that child with you, or you can decide to leave the child here with a relative or another spouse. Having a U.S. citizen child doesn't make you immune from our laws of the country. American families get separated every day by law enforcement. Thousands of times a day when a parent gets put in jail, the child can't go with them. These, if you're an illegal alien, come to this country, and you decide to have a U.S. citizen child, that's on you. You put yourself in that position.
Well, when it came to this particular case, you just pointed out that they could have made arrangements. The father tried, actually, to make arrangements, as we understand it through our reporting. But he and the mother, who were separated since she was in detention after showing up for her appointment, was only allowed a very...
How many times have I said it? Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Nobody knows if he's the father for sure. He's just running his jaws. And it's not up to him. It's up to the mother until a judge says otherwise. Every court does that with children. The mother's the preferred individual to raise a child. But anyway, who knows if it's even his kid and what's his status? How come they were separated? How come he didn't show up? Oh, because he might have got put on a plane too, right?
A brief phone call. The father tried to petition to get the child handed over to an American citizen relative. So the mother had to make this decision and took the child with her. It just seems like there could be some more time frame here around due process allowed. That's what the judge is saying there should have been more of a process here.
There was due process. The two-year-old baby was left with the mother because the mother signed a document requesting her 2-year-old baby go with her. That's the parent's decision. I don't think the judge knows specifics of this case. 2-year-old went with the mom. The mom signed a paper saying, "I want my 2-year-old to go with me." That's a parent's decision. It's not a government decision. It's a parent's decision.
The father wrote a note. Anyhow, we have to leave it there. Director, thank you for your time today. We'll be right back.
Ha ha ha! They say you can hear the producer saying over her microphone, "Go to commercial," because he was just sitting there as calm as could be, slapping them down left and right, and they couldn't get any traction with their BS. Look at the look on her face. Okay, she tried to stretch it out. The father wrote a note. Why don't you show up? Why don't you show up with where your supposed spouse and child are? Because you probably show up, you get corralled. And who's your attorney? Is he aiding and abetting in giving you advice to evade deportation? What happens to people like that? Well, I know what didn't used to happen, but what's happening now. Anyway, here's what Bill Barr's got to say about it. Remember now, Trump smacked around Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is helping. Trump smacked around Elon Musk. He would have got down on his knees and kissed my feet for that money. Remember that? Elon Musk is helping now. He got into it with Rand Paul. He got into it with Jeff Sessions. He got into it with a lot of people. Sometimes you got to put on a show. He called Bill Barr fat and stupid. Well, a lot of these news companies would not interview Bill Barr if they thought he was buddy-buddy with Trump. Now, there's this good cop, bad cop going on. They put him on the shows, and here's what he's got to say.
I doubt it'll get to the Supreme Court because I think the law is so clear. The states argue, the sanctuary states argue, they don't have to affirmatively assist us, the feds, in getting hold of these illegal aliens. But this isn't a question of assisting. This is actually interfering with, of harboring, of getting in the way. And so I don't think there's any question about this, and I think it's time for zero tolerance and getting back to basics, which are that judges and state officials are still citizens, they're subject to the federal law, and they cannot interfere in or impede the federal function. So I'm 100% in agreement with what's done.
Well, of course, you know how the media is going to play it, and of course the Democrats already have begun. The protests have begun, suggesting that this is Trump again being the imperial president who's a dictator now and ignoring the courts. Do you think any courts will pick up on that? Any courts to which these cases might be appealed?
Yeah, I mean, some state courts, there's some very liberal state courts, they may try to go down that path, but at the end of the day, they'll be slapped down because these judges do not have the right to interfere with the federal government performing its function.
They'll get slapped down. That they'll get slapped down. They have no business. And he said something I said night before last. I said they got to get back to basics. I said that when I was talking about notice. The presidential public proclamation is adequate notice to start packing your bags or get an attorney. And they want to say, well, they got to give them 30-day notice now. What do you think the presidential proclamation was about? Get back to basics. That's exactly what I said. Ay. Happy birthday to you, oh, Miss Mendoza. Happy birthday to you. Ay. How's that for a birthday song in Mexican? I told you I could speak it. Anyway, so here's that judge that is going to boycott, I guess, trials, standing up for her. Her buddy looks like a toad frog. But she's gonna stand in solidarity. Now she says she's a Native American. That's fine. So did what's her face? So did Pocahontas. So we'll take that for whatever the hell it's worth. I got her. Somebody got her email, and I got a screenshot of it where she's talking about her noble efforts, what she's going to do to protest this horrible situation. Man, this print is so small. It's hard to see. Well, I come across it, I get it. Where is it? Huh. And she's asking for advice, what she should do. This is another picture, or a full-length picture. There she is. You know, I got nothing against the little outfit with the, what is that, embroidery. You know, that's fine. Feminine touch. Who started that? That was putting a little snaz on the robes was Ruth Bader Ginsburg started that, didn't she? With some kind of getup. Oh, here's some meme I meant to put up with the other story. For your putting on your quiver to put on Meta. Jeffrey Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre dies by you-know-what-aside. And Hillary down there with the evil doctor. You-know-what-aside. Yeah, right, Hillary. Everybody and their brother knows what's going on with that deal. As I said, at the highest levels, it's known. But anyway, where in the world is her email? Huh, that's weird. I know I got it in here somewhere. Well, I'll trip across. Here it is. Wait a minute. No, that's not it. I gotta find it. I find that highly aggravating. Let me see if this is it. Is this it? Aha! What's her name? Sorry, it's fuzzy, but I had to grab it where I could grab it. Monica Isham. Guidance requested, or I refuse to hold court. This is the email she sends out, I guess, to the whole world. Well, whoever's in her courthouse. Good morning, all. For those of you who do not know me, I am Monica Isham, Sawyer County Circuit Court Judge for Branch 2, a little state district court. I have been in this position less than 2 years. I was elected as the first woman, first Native American, first minority altogether. Well, get you a cookie. to serve as circuit court judge in Sawyer County. Circuit court's a little higher than general district. I have sworn an oath to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin. Well, then you better get on it. Since January 20th, I've endured many racial attacks. Whoa, my. While on the bench in my courtroom, I was called an immigrant. I have been told I have no jurisdiction over white people in my county. Oh, and this is the first you're bringing it up. I had a prospective juror loudly proclaim that she would not follow any orders from a brown or black person, and that if the defendant were brown or black, they would find them guilty. Don't you know that would have made front page news on every one of these Marxist propaganda sites? Yesterday, Judge Hannah Dugan in Milwaukee County stood on her oath in the very building she swore to uphold it and said she was arrested and charged with felonies for it. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. You got that right. So she goes on to say, I have no intention of allowing anyone to be taken out of my courtroom by ICE and sent to a concentration camp. Especially without due process, as both the constitutions we swore to support require. Should I start raising bail money? No, you should start learning how to put the fries in the bag. I no longer feel protected or respected as a judge in this administration. Well, you haven't earned your respect. You're acting like a child. And you don't understand the law. You're putting lives at risk. If there's no guidance for us and no support for us, I will refuse to hold Court Branch 2 in Sawyer County. I will not put myself or my staff, who may feel compelled to help me or my community, in harm's way. We have a Judicial District 10 meeting on May 9th, and I respectfully ask that we be given some guidance by then so we may discuss as a group in District 10. May 9th? What are you going to do between now and then? Please forward this along. Oh, it's getting forwarded along. Don't worry, lady. If this costs me my job or gets me arrested, then at least I know I did the right thing. Sincerely, Monica Isham. No, you're causing national vitriol and distress because you don't understand the damn law. That's not your job to mouth off. I had a bunch of quotes from Congress people and whoever down in that territory, and I got rid of them, but I kept one. Where is it? One comment from the chief judge, her boss. You know, it was right after she got arrested, the other one. His name's Carl Ashley, Milwaukee County Circuit Court. I have received a number of media inquiries seeking comment on the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan. The Judicial Code of Conduct restricts judges from commenting on pending or impending matters in any court. She wrote that email afterwards public. Judge Dugan's court calendar will be covered by another judge as needed. End of story. Exactly the way judges are supposed to respond. She read that and she decided to put out her garbage email. I wonder if I got a copy of that code of conduct I think I did put it in here if I can find it. Let's see. Yeah, they got to live by a code of conduct. That's what I was saying the other night. They need to start enforcing the code of conduct for judges. They can't have the appearance of impropriety, much less actual improper dealings going on, like an immediate relative profiting off of Trump's persecution. Where is that code of conduct? I'm looking for it. Here it is. Wisconsin Judicial Commission. A judge shall avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all of the judge's activities. A judge shall respect and comply with the law. It should say that they should know it and shall act at all times in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. There it is. There it is. Was her behavior? Either of their behaviors in keeping with the code of conduct and code of ethics? No. So they need to start enforcing that and throwing these people the hell off the bench. Suspend them, whatever it takes. People have gone out of their ways to protect judges and the judiciary just because they didn't want people to lose faith. And this is how they pay back. People bending over backwards to protect the times they were drunk driving, the times they did something stupid, like every human being on the face of the earth. No, they take this elevated reputation they were given by people running cover for their stupidity, and they abuse it. Wisconsin judges' arrest sparked protests. If I didn't have enough time today, if I could have got 30 seconds of these, I don't want to be too insulting, but ridiculous sing-song, a bunch of 60s hippies or 70s hippies that are over the hill singing stupid songs. They're like, oh, these mass protests. Here, you got this one here. Now this impact. Another one that just jumped up on YouTube. Jennifer Vasquez, wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, was forced into hiding. Oh, she's probably got a GoFundMe now. She doesn't need a HUD house anymore. She was doxxed by the White House, probably living on the government dime. And like I said, mama's baby, daddy's baby. The kid she's claiming belongs to Abrego Garcia's might not even be his kids. This dopey, big-eared mess you see in front of you right here, Miss Zenas, that ends now. Judge overseeing our Abrego Garcia case knocks Trump administration. So what she did was she stopped her daily depositions of Trump administration officials, but acted tough. That they're being evasive, they're doing this, they're doing that, and all that behavior ends now. Yeah, your stupid depositions ended now, so you get a message. So she's going to have a hearing, I think, I can't remember, it might be May 30th or sometime in the future she's going to have a hearing. If she's smart, she'll wise up and shut up and stay out of the president's business on foreign affairs and how to run this country as it relates to foreign affairs. It's dangerous. The things that are going on are dangerous. So here we have a media narrative about these kids. They started a media narrative about Trump's suit at the Vatican. Talk about weak. How weak can you get? But they don't say anything about somebody losing their life because they had Trump signs. This was back in 2019, I believe. Somebody assassinated him. That's what happened to him. The guy you see on the screen, Burnell. I'll give you a reason to have a whiskey. I see that, Yvonne. Here, I'll give you a reason to have a whiskey. Here is pictures of the Queen of Belgium. Here she is, right here. See her? She's with her hubby, laughing, smiling, having a good time. Got a little cute button nose. She gives her hubby a kiss. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Fast forward to today. Top off your whiskey. How's the lovely couple doing now? Tell me there isn't something wrong. Spiritually, I believe it's spiritual. Listen, you don't end up like that for nothing. Like they say in New York, not for nothing. Isn't that awful? I saw this and said, I've shown this stuff before, but these pictures are just so unbelievable. There. 1989 and 2024. You know what? I would feel bad if, come to find out, she got in a fiery car wreck, okay? And a $6 million womander, they rebuilt her from looking like Fire Marshal Bill. But I don't think that's the case. Here's some more pictures. You can get screenshots of that if you want to. And ask your friends on Facebook what they think. Here's something. Right here. I guess this was during the progression. There. What is that necklace? It's too blurry. Princess Kalina of Bulgaria attends the silver wedding anniversary celebrations of the Grand Duke Henry and Grand Duchess Maria Theresa of Luxembourg. Gala dinner at the Chateau de Bourg. Yes. There she is at the Chateau de Bourg. And I got one more set of pictures. If anybody can figure this out, other than some kind of ritual, satanic ritual, I don't know how you end up this way. 89, 2005, 2018, 2024. Or why would you show off your arms and, I don't know, your roots? These are royals. Can't afford a fresh hair dye? What do I know? I don't know about that stuff. Here's a good example of competing news stories. Directly one after the other in my feed. This is somebody reposting Fox News. Zelensky begs Trump. Zelensky begs Trump. Fox and Friend Weekend Show. Right underneath that, Zelensky takes charge. Midas Trash Network. Zelensky checkmates Trump in Rome with a power move. One right after the other. Which one would you believe? The lunatic liberals are only going to click on the one that's going to reinforce their mental narrative. But Dan Scavino, this power move, right, where Trump met with Zelensky in the Vatican. Here's a picture Trump put up of the meeting. This is one Trump put up. He put up a full picture of the whole scenario there, showing you how high those things are. You're talking to how old are these structures? And there they are. According to the anti-Trump liberals, Zelensky got the better of Trump. But Dan Scavino put this video up. I think Trump put one up too, but let me find it. It shows that there were 3 chairs there. Here's Scavino's post. There were 3 chairs there. Behind the scenes, Vatican City. President Trump sat down to meet privately with Vladimir Zelensky in St. Peter's Basilica. Is this where he runs off? There were 3 chairs there, I heard, and that dopey Macron walked up, and Trump pretty much nicely told him to put egg in his shoe and beat it and talk with just Zelensky. They moved that 3rd chair out of the way. I think Trump told him to get it out of there. And when Zelensky walked up, Macron walked up, Trump said, "Get out of here." So here is a picture. You all see what you think of this picture. Let me find it. There's a picture that I found very interesting. Trump by himself. There's a video I want to show you, and you all tell me your impressions. I believe it was after Trump met with Zelensky. It's Trump and Melania. Anybody lip readers in the crowd? Are anybody lip readers? Let me see. Where is that? Let me see if I can find it before I carry on. Oh, I put this up. While I'm looking for that video, somebody put this up. Joe Biden elected new pope via mail-in ballots after midnight deadline. Sound familiar? Where is that video of Mr. T and Melania? This might be it. It might not be. No, that's only 10 seconds. Wait a minute. Here it is. This is 2 minutes long. Let me get it in close so you all can see their body language. I'll let you all watch it. No, there was no sound with the video. What do you think?
posługę kapłańską. Niech dostąpią udziału w liturgii niebieskiej.
Dominum de precemur,
für alle verstorbenen Gläubigen, dass sie in das Himmelreich eintreten dürfen.
Dominum de precemur,
请为团聚在此的我们祈祷，愿在庆祝神圣奥节后，我们有朝一日能蒙基督召叫，进入他光荣的国度。
Dominum de precemur,
O Dio nostro,
onnipotenti, in unitate Spiritus Sancti, omnis honor et gloria, per omnia saecula saeculorum.
I mean, that's pretty chatty, wouldn't you say? He was really talking to her a lot. But they were putting out this BS that Trump wore a blue suit. And that blew up in their faces. Don Jr. put out a post about it. A lot of people put out a post about it. That's similar to this. Where is it? There's Joe, yeah. What do y'all think? You think Letitia James is going to get arrested tomorrow? That's the story on the street. I saw people talking about an arrest of Biden's double. The media keeps lying. Fortune put this out. The Vatican asked Pope Francis' funeral attendees to wear all black. Trump wore a blue suit. So they have this close crop photo. And let me tell you something. I learned back in the 60s. My dad told me back in the 1960s, navy blue is suitable for all occasions. Navy blue is a classic color. It's a dark blue, almost black. Dark blue that can go with lighter blue pants, matching pants, tan pants, okay? Navy blue sport jackets were a must. They go with everything. And I learned that, God, how many years ago? But anyway, here's the truth. They're liars. And there's the truth. You see President Trump in the front row, off to the right, center right, and look how many blue suits are all over Hell's Half Acre. Trump posted, I see the Saudis back there. When he posts still photos and no comment, I kind of zero in on those. I'm like, what's he trying to tell us? And he put a picture up. I wonder if I got a copy. it shows that he's a couple of seats away from a Saudi prince. Or how do they say it? Saudi prince. That was a little signal, I think, to Putin. The oil is going to get cranked up, Putin, and your economy is going to get cranked down. You're going to have problems. I think that's what that message was. So here they are continuing this Tony Michaels post. This guy cropped up days ago or a week ago. It's the first time I ever saw him. And he's got like, I don't know how many tens of thousands of followers. Fight back. Bro really wore a blue suit, not even black or navy at least, but blue. Totally embarrassing and disrespectful. You idiot. It's navy blue, you dip. Oh, yeah. Nobody even cared that Joe Biden was there. Hi, Jerry. How you doing? Jersey Joe. How you doing? I'm sure I missed some people that came in. And I don't mean to miss people, but I get to babbling. I'll get back. I might have some more stuff on the blue suit business. But listen to this idiot talking about these judges. What's his name? I don't know what he is. But let me tell you something. I'm going to repeat it. He's on PBS NewsHour. Always keep in mind that Rudy Giuliani lost his law license for doing nothing wrong. I guess they claimed his behavior was unbecoming. I don't know why they took his license away. Let's see what this guy's got to say. What's his name? Western, I don't know.
Well, obviously they're trying to send a note of intimidation, not only to her, but to all judges and maybe to all Americans. But I don't yet know the specific details of this case, whether she escorted the guy out the jury door or whether she's let him. So that's all murky. I don't want to comment on this specific case. But especially on the issue of immigration, there are a lot of people who are appalled by what the administration is doing. And there will be times for civil disobedience. And to me, let's say she did escort this guy out the door. If federal enforcement agencies come to your courtroom and you help a guy escape, that is two things. One, it strikes me as maybe something illegal, but it also strikes me as something heroic. And in times of trouble, then people are sometimes called to do civil disobedience. And in my view, when people do civil disobedience, they have to pay the price. That's part of the heroism of it, frankly. And so you can both think that she shouldn't have legally done this, and that morally protecting somebody against, or maybe not even in this case, but in other cases, frankly, a predatory enforcement agency.
You idiot. His last name is Brooks. He writes, as you probably saw, for the New York Times, talking about Henry David Thoreau or whoever, civil disobedience. Well, listen, you dope. When you're a civil servant, when you're a sworn officer, you're a government worker. You're not a civilian. So civil disobedience isn't in the cards unless you want to resign your commission, resign your office. Then you can civil disobedience till your head falls off, but not when you're a sworn officer. You can resign and be civilly disobedient all you want, but not when you get a paycheck from the government and you are operating under an oath. See, I need to get on some of these shows. Anyways, here, speaking of creepos and idiots, how many times did we talk about this dope? Now he's cropping up all the time. Sweaty man, Weissman, the architect of the impeachment scam, Mueller time. What's he got to say, little creep?
He is being treated no better or worse than anyone else. This is not selective prosecution, that this is not somebody who's singled out, that he is being treated just like anyone else. That is what it means to have a rule of law. That is what the Justice Department is really signaling and messaging here, is that everyone will be treated, as Merrick Garland has said, as equally in this country. This is really a great day for America. So there has been a violation here that we know for sure, and it is not the judge. Right, exactly. You don't do it. Even if you thought that there was a ground for doing this, the judgment call that you thought that this is the case to bring, it tells you everything. There is no adult in the room who would have said, "Are you kidding me? Why would you possibly do this?" And the answer is because we want to send a signal to the judiciary, and that's what you shouldn't be doing.
Tell me there's not sugar in that gas tank. Anyway, I'm going to tell you, I saw a video today, and I left it in some of my screenshots. Maybe this one. No, I didn't leave it in this one. People are talking about Rachel Maddow being told by her producers, "You better back off with your stupid talk," because they're probably facing more problems. But there was a interrogation of a police officer back in 2022 where he was found to have little chillins on his phone. Nasty stuff, right? And they told him during his interrogation, whenever you turn your phone in and get a new one, everything on your phone is uploaded to the cloud. And there is an algorithm, that artificial intelligence, that can comb through tens of thousands of images a second and is zeroed in on your phone. Your old phone. Verizon has an agreement with the government. Whenever they see that kind of stuff, that they report it to us, they give the email addresses and the IP addresses, the phone number, and all the information on the phone to law enforcement. You can erase your phone. You can put it back on factory settings. You can throw it in a river. It doesn't matter. We'll get the stuff. Well, I didn't mean to put this picture up. I'm scrolling. Here we go. I got this picture so I would remember to bring this up. Child S3X abuse found on New Mexico deputies' devices. And there's being interrogated. It was gotten by a FOIA request by couch detectives and placed on Law and Crime Network. He went into a little bit more technical detail about how stuff can get cached into a phone, cached, and you just can't get it. You never get it out. It's there forever. And like I said, you turn your phone in to get a brand new deal on a phone, it all gets scanned, saved, and reported. So Andrew Weissman with his little chit-chat talk and you got to wonder what the hell he's been involved in, along with the rest of these preverts. You don't think we don't have that information? You don't think there's not special files for these high-profile people? But what's the best time to drop the hammer? When the people are awake. When the people are awake, unless things get so out of hand. So out of hand if they had actually tried to throw Donald Trump in a cell, or if they actually tried to pull him out of office. They were walking right on the fine line. But here's Adam Schiff telling a little story about it. He doesn't even realize it. Maybe he does realize it, but he's explaining just how awake people are becoming.
So we're going to have to change how we do business in California. We're going to have to address people's legitimate concerns about crime. I was in South San Francisco 2 years ago after I had an experience in the city that all too many people had when my luggage was stolen out of my car. They tell you don't ever leave your luggage in the car. I never do until the one time I did. And of course, it got stolen. And what was most memorable about the experience for me is I went to this Target in South San Francisco, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm getting the toiletries I'm going to need for my next 2 days in the city. I get to the cashier.
You went there by yourself, not an assistant.
I think I went there. Well, yes, I had somebody drop me off at the store, and so
I don't mean to make that an issue. Actually, I waited somewhere I should not have waited.
Okay. First of all, I had to get the clerk, which is hard to find, to unlock the shampoo or the whatever. So that's one thing. And then I get to the cashier. The cashier asked me if I want one of those Target bags with a little bullseye on it. And I said, yes, that Target bag is going to be my luggage for the next 2 days. And she asked me what happened, and I told her. And she basically said, in not so many words, yeah, Democrats are assholes. And I thought, you know, if the cashier in South San Francisco at 10 o'clock at night believes that Democrats are assholes because the shampoo is locked up and my stuff got stolen out of the trunk, we've got a major problem that we have to address. And I think
that's an awesome story.
Yeah. Listen to the crowd applaud when he says you got a cashier at 10 o'clock at night at a Target saying Democrats are a-holes. You got a problem. And everybody busts out clapping. Yeah, you're right. You guys do have a problem. And watch what you're saying about the stuff. You know, I can't believe it. Stuff that was only put up on the CUE board about Adam Schiff. No attempts at misspelling. Stuff that gets... I'll tell you what. I'm timing out somebody. It happens again. I don't want to see him back. Can't use his damn brain for a minute. Get me in my mood. By the way, give me a thumbs up. I forgot to ask you the whole thing. I was just sitting here thinking, why am I doing this every night? Banging my head against the wall, putting all this stuff up there, and can't get an ounce of respect. And then I said, oh, I wonder if I'm getting any thumbs ups. And by the way, thank you, Gary, for helping support the channel this week. And everybody else has helped the channel. I got to buy me a coffee in the description. But treat this channel like it was your own. I'm going to end it with this. In a video. I got a nice video. This is a stupid Occupy Democrats. Garbage Marxists that have been around ever since Facebook started. Talking about everything they put up has got to take 1,000 words. 1,000 words to try to make a point. Trump wearing makeup like spray on tan. J.D. Vance wearing guy liner. And now Hegseth putting on makeup studio in the Pentagon. And these guys hate drag queens. Hit the like if Trump, Vance, and Hegseth are one big bad joke. Who the hell doesn't put makeup on when they're going to get interviewed for television? Every frickin' body. These are the people making fun of how somebody else is preparing themselves for a television broadcast. Thank you, Debbie. Cookies from Mountain Man. That's good. Yeah. Elon trying to steal my social security number. A pack of freaks. Criticizing. I should have really got a clip of that stupid. Look at this. Occupy Democrats, a bunch of commies. Hit the like and subscribe if you feel the same way. Talk about protection. Sometimes it almost feels like Trump was installed by an enemy to sabotage our country. Anybody else feel this way? The only one that hadn't been installed to destroy it. All these other jerks were look at this. This is going to make you all mad. Calm yourselves and don't put anything crazy in the chats. But this is one of the most disgusting things. And this was on YouTube. They talk about bullying. That jerk, the Tony Michaels podcast, a garden flag. You can buy a garden flag. They promote it and sell it on TIDAL, who takes me down if I say certain words and not even let me know what I did wrong in a 2-hour broadcast. This is what they're... Guess how many nasty old liberal broads that smell like, excuse me, I very seldom use this kind of language. They smell like cat piss and Febreze are going out and hanging this kind of garbage up. And YouTube is letting them promote it. And I heard nothing back from that report I put in about them putting a filthy, disgusting picture of Trump's severed head in a toilet. So that's why I get so touchy when stuff goes in the chat. Says it should be harmless, but I get upset because you never know when they're going to claim that you're the bully or the that I'm the one that's putting up harmful content. Gosh, I got another 50 pictures to put up, but there's only so much time in a day. This is it in a nutshell. Federal judges block Trump's agenda, withholding funds from sanctuary cities. Judges have no authority to do any of this crap. They're the ones who are the subversives. Proof of U.S. citizenship, they blocking that. So anybody can waltzes up to a voting booth, can vote in federal elections. Cutting funding to public schools that maintain DEI programs violates discrimination policies, discriminating on the basis of race, creed, or color. Cutting funding to public schools that dissolving the Voice of America. A liberal bullhorn that's paid for by all the taxpayers. They're the subversives. Gosh. I guess I can play some of this stuff tomorrow. I got some Vatican clips. Laura Loomer posted that when Trump, right after Trump and Zelensky met, that a diplomatic, convoy went, a motorcade full of generals went to the Ukrainian embassy in Washington, D.C., right after this sit-down discussion with Vladimir Zelensky. These are the generals en route to the Ukrainian embassy. I don't know, Penguin 6 report. Trump is in was in Italy, and what's going on? Something's going on. Here's something Trump posted right here. Did you all get to see this little video Trump posted?
People in our country illegally can self-deport the easy way, or they can get deported the hard way, and that...
Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, and we will deport you. You will never leave.
Entering this country illegally is a crime, and we're not going to forgive it.
If you cross the border, your chances of being apprehended are much greater, and if you are apprehended, you're going to be removed from the country.
Take me home.
You all get the point. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. Yeah, Junior's getting ready to get D and then ported. So, I got a little clip here I'm sure you all will enjoy. Our favorite. Except when he falls for stuff like wrongly deported. I could do a spiel on that too. But anyway, thank you all for spending your precious time with me. I didn't mean to blow a cork. Actually, I didn't. I kind of blew off a little steam out of the bottom of my cork. But anyway, it's still in place. So I got a nice video here with Senator Kennedy I think you'll enjoy. And I'll be going live tomorrow night. And I want to thank everybody that joined me and everybody who watches after the broadcast. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, why not? So you all have a great night. This is Mountain Man. Over and out.
If you're a Democrat in today's Democratic Party, you're not allowed to fire bad employees, to fire bad teachers, cut wasteful spending, deport illegal immigrants, oppose MS-13, like cops, prosecute thieves who steal less than $950, question vaccines, oppose sex change operations for minors, or transgender people in women's bathrooms or playing women's sports, oppose critical race theory in our schools. You're not allowed to oppose reading porn to grade schoolers. You're not allowed to oppose racial quotas, but you are required to use certain pronouns and to believe that men can breastfeed.
I've been to Washington, I don't know how many times in the last 5 years. I've had congressmen ask me, can you leave your cell phone outside? Let's go for a walk. You're carrying any electronics? Do you have an Apple Watch? No, I don't. Okay. And then they'll say, outside as we're walking quietly, the CIA is monitoring everything that we're doing in Congress. They're monitoring all of us. And 2 of them have told me, we've been threatened. Behind closed doors, we've been threatened by the CIA. That was a little scary to hear that. And I've heard it over and over and over again.